Rain tapped softly against the cracked windows of Brookdale High School as the final bell echoed through the halls. Most students burst into chatter, eager to escape the gray monotony of another Monday. But in the far corner of the corridor, where the lockers rusted and the paint peeled in lazy curls, 3 girls lingered in a tight circle, whispering behind cupped palms. Their eyes darted to the end of the hall, where a lone figure in a blue hoodie stood quietly, her face tilted toward the floor. She looked so slight, so harmless, that it almost seemed funny how much the principal had warned them to treat the new girl kindly. Her name's Mia, the tallest of the 3 girls, Roxy announced to the others in a voice thick with disdain. Just transferred, supposed to be from, I don't know, somewhere out west. You'd think she'd say hi instead of skulking around like a stray cat. She's probably scared, murmured Lila, who usually didn't like trouble. But her voice was ignored. Scared. Then she came to the wrong school. Roxy smirked, flicking her sleek black hair over one shoulder. Someone should teach her how things work around here. Mia shifted her backpack higher on her shoulder, as if she'd felt the weight of their attention even without seeing their faces. Her hand brushed a worn patch on the strap, a small, nearly invisible insignia, too faded to read. Lila frowned at the insignia but couldn't place why it tugged at her memory. Mia didn't meet their eyes when they approached, just closed her locker carefully and turned as though to leave. But Roxy planted herself in her path, and the other 2 flanked her like hounds cornering something small and fragile. Hey, new girl, Roxy said in a syrupy voice, where you sneaking off to? You didn't introduce yourself. Mia looked up then, and for the first time, Lila glimpsed her face fully. Her features were delicate, almost too delicate, as if the world had tried to erase her, but her eyes were a startling, unflinching gray. The silence stretched. You deaf? Roxy demanded, her voice sharpening. Mia's gaze shifted to Roxy's shoulder, then back to her face as though calculating distance. Still, she said nothing. Roxy's mouth twisted. Wow, she thinks she's too good to talk to us. She lifted her hand slowly, deliberately, as if to test the tension in the air. Her palm hovered inches from Mia's cheek. Lila opened her mouth to protest, but in that single, suspended second, Mia moved. No one saw exactly how it happened. One moment Roxy's hand was poised in the air, and the next it was wrenched behind her back. Her body spun around so she faced the lockers with a dull metallic bang. Mia's fingers pressed lightly at the juncture between Roxy's thumb and wrist. It should have been nothing, just a simple hold. But Roxy's knees buckled as pain shot up her arm. You don't want to do that, Mia said softly, her voice calm and almost tired. The other girls froze, their faces pale. Let me go, Roxy spat, her bravado cracking under the pressure. Mia's expression didn't change. I don't want to hurt you, but I will. Her voice was not angry, not triumphant, just factual. In the tense quiet that followed, Lila finally recognized the insignia on Mia's backpack. Her uncle had been in the army. He'd shown her photos once, when she was too young to understand. Special Defense Tactical Training Program. This girl wasn't just someone who had taken a few self-defense classes. Mia released Roxy with a small push that sent her stumbling back into her friends. Roxy clutched her wrist, her face contorted in confusion and outrage. Freak, she hissed, but her voice wobbled. Mia's eyes softened, as though she, too, was sorry things had to be like this. Without another word, she turned and walked down the hallway. Rumors spread like wildfire. By lunchtime the next day, the story had mutated into absurd shapes. Some said Mia had broken Roxy's arm clean in 2. Others insisted she'd lifted her over her head like a rag doll. Mia kept her head down, eating in the far corner of the cafeteria. Her hair fell over her face, shielding her from the staring eyes. Lila sat with Roxy's group, picking at her sandwich. She watched Mia, the curiosity in her chest outweighing her fear. Roxy nursed her pride more than her wrist. She thinks she's so tough, she muttered. It's pathetic. She'll slip up eventually. She didn't even look angry, Lila said before she could stop herself. Roxy snapped her gaze over what? She wasn't mad, Lila mumbled. She looked sad. So what? You think we should feel sorry for her? Lila didn't answer. She didn't know what she felt. 2 days later, Mia was assigned to Lila's lab group in biology. As they sat side by side, Lila noticed the scars on Mia's hands. Small, precise lines, some old and faded, others newer, pink against pale skin. Hey, Lila began, her voice tentative. You okay after everything? Mia didn't look up from her notes. I'm fine. You know Roxy, she's not always like that. She just ... Mia's pencil paused. Just what? Lila flushed. I don't know. She likes to be in control. Most people do. Mia resumed her writing. Her calm was almost unnerving. They worked in silence until the bell rang. As Mia packed her things, Lila's curiosity broke through her caution. Asterisk, where did you learn to do that? Asterisk, Mia's fingers stilled on the zipper of her backpack. For a moment, Lila thought she wouldn't answer. Asterisk, my father told me, she said quietly. He thought I should be able to protect myself. Asterisk, Lila swallowed. Was he ... like in the military or something? Mia lifted her gaze, her gray eyes meeting Lila's. He believed you can't rely on anyone else to save you. Asterisk, there was no bitterness in her voice, only a quiet conviction that made something in Lila's chest ache for the next week. Roxy kept her distance, though her glares never faded, but tension has a way of building, seeking release. It happened on a rainy Friday afternoon. The buses were late, the storm outside growing worse by the minute. Most kids huddled inside, waiting, but Roxy couldn't stand the humiliation any longer. Asterisk, she cornered Mia near the gym, flanked by 2 older boys from the wrestling team who'd agreed to back her up. Asterisk, you think you're better than everyone? Roxy demanded, voice echoing off the cinderblock walls. Asterisk, Mia didn't flinch. She looked tired again. Asterisk, I don't think about you at all, she said. The word struck harder than any slap. Roxy's face went crimson. She shoved Mia back a step. You're nothing? You're just a scared little girl pretending to be tough. Asterisk, one of the boys moved to grab Mia's arm, but in a blur she stepped to the side and swept his legs out from under him. He hit the ground with a grunt. Stunned. Asterisk, the second boy lunged, and Mia caught him with a precise palm strike to the chest. He stumbled back, wind knocked from his lungs. Roxy backed away, her eyes wide with horror. You can stop now, Mia said quietly. No one needs to get hurt. Asterisk, but Roxy had gone too far to back down gracefully. With a strangled cry, she swung at Mia's face, reckless, desperate. Lila arrived just in time to see it happen. She thought she'd witness another impossible maneuver, but Mia didn't block, didn't strike back. Asterisk, instead, she stepped back, just far enough that Roxy's fist cut through empty air. Asterisk, Roxy lost her balance and fell hard on the damp floor. Asterisk, there was a stunned silence. Asterisk, Mia knelt beside her, not as a victor but as someone who'd seen enough pain to recognize it in others. Asterisk, you don't have to prove anything, she whispered. Not to me. Not to anyone. Roxy blinked, tears mixing with the rain on her cheeks. In that moment, the fight drained out of her. The principal arrived moments later, followed by teachers. The boys were led away. Roxy helped to her feet. Asterisk, Mia didn't look triumphant. She didn't look relieved. She looked exhausted. Asterisk, after the incident, everything shifted. Asterisk, Roxy stopped glaring, stopped whispering behind her hand. She never apologized aloud, but one day she left a folded note in Mia's locker. Asterisk, I'm sorry. You were right. Asterisk, Lila found Mia sitting under the big oak tree by the track, her hood pulled up against the wind. Asterisk, hey, Lila said, settling down beside her. You okay? Asterisk, Mia sighed. I didn't want any of this. Asterisk, I know. Asterisk, I thought if I stayed quiet, no one would notice me. No one would get hurt. Asterisk, Lila was quiet for a moment. Then she said, sometimes it's not about being invisible. Sometimes it's about showing people who you really are. Asterisk, Mia turned to look at her, and for the first time, she smiled, a small, hesitant thing. Asterisk, thank you, she whispered. Asterisk, they sat together until the sun came out again, the storm clouds moving on. Years later, people still remembered the girl who could have broken her classmates with a flick of her wrists but chose not to. The girl who proved strength isn't measured in bruises or fear. Asterisk, and in the quiet spaces between their memories, Mia finally found a little peace,